In this video, I'll be spending 100 days in Pixelmon on Enchant MC. Here are my goals. First, create a team full of dragons. Second, fight gyms across the map and earn 6 badges. And third, take on the battle tower, making my way to the top and defeating every trainer. Alright, so I joined the server, took a look around, and found this handsome guy. I was then prompted to choose my starter, and was given a bunch of items in my inventory. I had to choose between normal or custom starters, and I decided to check out the custom ones first. There were so many good options, and I just didn't know who to pick. I do plan on making a team full of dragons, so I thought I'd just start with Dratini. I also had to choose between shiny or not shiny, which was probably the easiest decision of my life. By the way, if you want to play, click the link below this video and it will take you to this website. Click install this mod pack and then download the Technic launcher. Next, scroll down and install the Windows version. And once you have it installed, just log in with your Minecraft account. When you open up the launcher, just go to modpacks, type in Enchant MC, and then install. The server and all the mods you need will be right there for you. If you already have the mod, feel free to use the IP. Anyway, I entered the spawn and noticed how colorful it was despite there being a thunderstorm. I then took out my Dratini to say hi, but it looks like he's more interested in the candy. Man, what is with this storm? I guess the server doesn't want me to be here. I waited for things to clear up, but then I got chased down by this Diglett. It's not often that I'll find a pink Diglett, so I let this moment last a little. I never knew you could do this with rare candy, but it's pretty awesome that you can. Before you know it, I'll have the whole server under the palm of my hand. Now enough with all this lollygagging, it's time for me to explore around for a bit. This place is actually quite nice when there isn't thunder blasting in my ears. I ran around for a bit and eventually found a Poke Center and a Pokemart. Before I checked them out, I wanted to settle things with this Diglett, but that didn't go too well. 2 minutes in, and I already have to go to the hospital. The Poke Center looked quite amazing, which is good for me since I know I'll be coming here a lot. They even have this cool banner, which I have no idea how they put into Minecraft. Anyway, I had a chat with Nurse Joy, she healed up my starter, and I was on my merry way. Although, it felt like there was just so much to do, and I had no idea where to start. But then I looked at the text in the middle, and it told me to type in /tutorial for help. I typed in /tutorial, and was teleported to this place that had a bunch of signs. Still have no clue how they made these, but it looks like these signs have a ton of useful commands, and this one told me that to get started, I should type /RTP. I teleported to this random forest, so it looks like the journey will start here. I then began chopping some wood, just like I would do in regular Minecraft. After gathering materials, I was hoping to find some flat land to build my first home, since things were already getting a little scary out here. I didn't find any flat land, but I did find a wild Poke Center with a chest full of goodies. I also found what I thought was a shiny Murkrow flying in the sky. I tried using the wood I got earlier to chase him down, but he was just way too far away. If you ever come on the server and find this platform, you'll know why it's here. Things were looking pretty rough, but I wasn't going to just sit here and let a shiny get away. However, once I got ahead of the bird, I realized it was just an ultimate boss. I had to replenish my wood after that, but that traumatic experience made me more determined to catch a shiny no matter what. Pretty soon, I found a nice plains biome and decided to settle down here. I used the shovel I got from the server and got to work on clearing up this place. I started off by building the foundation with some oak logs, and once that was done, I was ready to put in the walls. I'm not looking to build something super fancy, just something that'll get me through a few nights. I finished the house as the sun began to rise, and I think I did a pretty good job here. I know it looks like poop, but this will be the first house in SpicyTown. A place where you can visit and build alongside me by using /warp SpicyTown. I've seen people make some crazy houses in the past, so I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Just don't forget to set a home so that you can teleport to your home whenever you want. Also, don't forget to claim your land with the shovel, or else people might come and claim it themselves, including me. Now that I'm settled in, I think it's time to RTP again. We ended up at this beach and found a shelter here. I feel like training is going to be easy considering Dratini has such a wide variety of moves. I took out the shelter like it was nothing and won my first battle on the server. I decided to RTP again and found this water tower close by. I climbed all the way to the top and found a chest here that had a pretty useful battle item. I didn't find anything else, but I did set a home here in case I want to come back. Now as I continued training, I ended up getting a token after defeating the Centret. Not sure what they're for, but I'm curious to find out. I actually ended up getting another one after defeating the Zigzagoon. I hope this means I'm rich or something, but I highly doubt it. I should probably take some time and figure out how the economy works on the server. Besides the tokens, I also wanted to figure out what happens when I press semicolon. Apparently Pixelmon now has trading cards, and to get those cards you need to collect these essences. You get them by defeating Pokemon, but it's going to take a long time before I can cash them in. I've never played with trading cards before, so this should be a new experience. It's not a fun experience to get killed by a sheep though, but luckily with /PokeHeal I can fix that. Very useful command, probably the one I'll spam the most, but I believe you'll need a rank for it. Anyways, I caught this sheep, and I always get flattered when they give me achievements for such little things. Now you might be asking, if I'm going to have a full dragon team, why did I catch a sheep? Well, the sheep actually turns into a dragon when evolved with a Megastone. I won't be getting that anytime soon though, so he'll be staying as a sheep for a while. In other news, a message popped up saying an Entei had spawned in the Extreme Hills biome. I usually get excited when legendaries spawn, but since I can't fight or catch him, I don't know what to do with him. It actually took him 6 turns to beat me, and I was surprised that I lasted for that long. Moving on, I wanted to check out all the places I could go to on the server using /warps, and I found quite a handful of options to pick from. I decided to head to the Pokemart and noticed that I can pretty much buy anything here. I'll definitely need to buy some Pokeballs and probably some TMs as well. I then talked to the other guy who was actually in charge of the token shop. I can buy crate keys with the tokens, but those cost a lot. I can also buy a ton of rare candy with them and even a Master Ball. I'll have to fight more Pokemon to get more tokens, but I wonder where else I can get them. I think I'll worry about that later because right now I want to focus on building my team. I came to the Extreme Hills in hopes to find a Jangmo-O, but while I was doing that, I got surprise attacked by this random dude. He was actually a move tutor, and I wanted to learn new moves, but they were expensive. I'll have to go mining for those ores or buy them from the shop, but hopefully I run into more of those guys. Now I did run into a Jangmo-O, but he was level 30. All the Pokemon around me are still super strong, so it looks like I'll have to do more training. I wasn't able to catch that Jangmo-O, but I am able to catch this shiny Mareep. It was fun training the sheep I have right now, but once I catch this guy, I'm replacing him in a heartbeat. I threw a Pokeball at him, waited for the ding, and got a couple of achievements. I can't believe I have 2 shinies on the team, and they're both pink. Hopefully I'll catch more, but I don't think my luck is that high. Moving on, I went back to the Extreme Hills and found another Jangmo-O. This guy was level 32, but at least my Dratini had a lot more levels than before. I had to be careful about this, so I just used Wrap to get him low. I got him to the red, paralyzed him, and used an Ultra Ball, so I wasn't surprised when it only took 1 try. The team is forming up quite rapidly, and I feel like I'll have a full party in no time. Now I wanted to see how my Jangmo-O would do against this level 49 Arbok, but then I realized he didn't have a single move that did damage. So I ended things with Slash and Battle. If I want to train and level him up, I'll have to swap him out with Dratini in fights. I already know that's going to suck, considering he's level 32. To make things even worse, Dratini's Dragon Tail move forces Pokemon out of battle. I guess this is what I get for having 2 shinies on my team. I really wanted to know when he'll learn his next move, so I used /pwiki Jangmo-O to open up his Pixelmon wiki. I also wanted to know when he'll evolve, so I checked and it looks like it'll be soon. This thing gives me so much information, so I'll definitely be using this throughout the playthrough. I checked the move list, and he apparently learns Dragon Claw at level 32, so I guess this day just keeps getting better and better. Actually, it did get better once I found this move tutor. I didn't have any ores since I didn't go mining, but I knew where I could get some. If I type in /shop, I can access the shop I saw at the Pokemart. These ores are quite expensive though, so I'll have to see how much is in my balance. I can check my balance using /bal, and it looks like I'm quite broke. I wanted to go sell some stuff to make money, so I told this guy to stay put until I came back. I sold my apricorns, which were about $1 each, and I sold all my coal, which gave me a decent amount of cash. Just from selling small items, I made a couple $100, which is pretty good. I checked to see if the guy was still there, but it looks like he bolted as soon as I left. I guess I'm stuck with having no damage moves, but at least I'm having fun selling these items. I sold a lot of my junk and ended up having almost 1k in the bank. It wasn't long until I found another move tutor, and I was excited because I now have money. But then I realized diamonds cost a fortune, which is why I bought silicon instead so that I could purchase Dragon Pulse. This was a huge relief because now training will be much easier. However, grinding for levels can be pretty hard when all the Pokemon around outmatch you. But I'm sure things will get easier once I get Dragonair and learn Aqua Tail at level 31. Fighting desert Pokemon will be easy, and I won't have to use Slam that misses half the time. Once I defeated the Sandshrew, my Dratini finally started to evolve. He evolved into this giant serpent and was pretty awesome to look at. Shortly after, I found this Gibble who I knew would be perfect for my team. However, once I got into battle, I realized I might actually kill him. I ended the battle to go catch the Sizzlipede, since he's probably a much safer opponent. Thank God he had a bug move though. Burning him would be the last thing I want. I then threw an Ultra Ball, catching him while adding yet another dragon to the team. I can't wait to have an army of dragons, but I wonder what other dragons I should put in the squad. I know I'm going to need a lot of Pokeballs though, but the ones at the Pokemart are so expensive. Luckily, the ones in the server shop are much cheaper, so I'll definitely buy them here. I also plan on buying a lucky egg to speed up the training process, but I'll have to save a lot of money for that. Now I thought of what other dragon type I want, and I decided I wanted one that was also a water type. Other than Palkia, I could only think of one other water dragon, but getting him will be difficult. He's a fossil Pokemon, so I'll have to look for fossils on the ocean floor. He actually needs 2 fossils, but I was lucky enough to find one of them rather quickly. I ended up getting 2 of the same fossil, so I'll probably just give one of them to a lucky fan. The next fossil I got though was just the one I needed, but I was slowly dying while getting it. I made it back up with only 2 hearts left, but it was all worth it. I then looked at the Warps menu again and headed to the Pokélab. The lab looked pretty sick, but the main reason I was here was so that I could use the fossil machines. First I'll have to clean the fossils, and once they're clean, I can pick them up and then place both of them in the fossil machine. A part of me was excited about this whole process, but another part of me was hoping that I got the right ones. I ran around spawn until that finished, and just enjoyed the night scenery. I also came across the crates section. They had a vote crate which you get by voting for the server, and also an alpha crate, an ancient crate, and even a legendary crate as well. I would love to open a legendary crate, but I really hope I don't get something lame. Now when I came back to the fossil machine, I was disappointed when I realized I did get the wrong fossils. I'm just kidding, I would never make such a silly mistake. Once I retrieved him from the fossil machine, I threw him out and was happy that I now have Dracovish. This might not be the scary dragon team you were expecting, but with some time, they will be absolutely terrifying. Now the last dragon I wanted to put on my team was Dino. He's pretty rare and spawns in the extreme hills in the ultra deep sea. I guess I'll wait for a wormhole to open up, and in the meantime, I'll just train Dracovish. I also want to train my Mareep a little so that he doesn't fall behind. One of the best ways to train is through raid dens since they give some experience candy. Another great way to get levels is by fighting trainers who I can get a ton of cash from as well. I checked my balance and it looks like I'm getting closer and closer to buying that lucky egg. Throughout the training, there were also a few evolutions as well. My sheep grew in size, but he didn't look shiny anymore, unless I'm just missing something here. My little mountain dragon also evolved into a much cooler and bigger dragon. And last but not least, my Gabite started to evolve during this trainer battle. It's a shame he won't be cute anymore, but I think I can deal with it. Also, I didn't notice this earlier, but after comparing him with a normal Flaffy, I can see that his tail is different. The team still doesn't look scary, but at least we're making progress. Now if I shift right click on a Pokemon, I can open their wiki much faster. I check the evolution info, and it's going to take a while for my dragons to evolve. However, once I get that lucky egg, it'll be smooth sailing from here. I only need about $3,000 more, which isn't that much. However, finding trainers wasn't easy, so I had to come up with other ways to make money. In the ores section of the shop, I found that iron ingots sell for $8 each. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I think it's a pretty good deal considering iron isn't scarce. I sold some aluminum too, and after selling all my iron, I reached a balance of 8.6k. I was hoping I'd find some trainers in the forest, but I ended up finding the Celebi shrine instead. I made sure to set a home there so I can come back to it in case I find a GS ball. As I was fighting this den, a Zacian spawned in the forest. As much as I would love to catch this guy, there's no way I'm capable of doing that. I have a team of dragons against the fairy type, so as expected, he one-shot my entire squad. On the bright side, after selling a bunch of items at the Pokemart, I was able to finally purchase a lucky egg. Getting levels is so much easier now, and I might just go take on a gym. My first gym will be the Steel Gym, and I'm honestly not sure how that will go. I'm happy that I evolved my Flaffy before the gym, because I'm going to need all the power I can get. Evolving him also made me one step closer into making him a dragon type. I asked my team if they were ready to go in, and they seemed pretty excited. As soon as I entered the battle, I noticed his Pokemon was the same level as Ampharos. That means all his other Pokemon are going to be the same level, which is a huge problem for me. I barely managed to defeat the first trainer, so I guess this gym is a lot harder than I thought. On the bright side, my Ampharos learned a really good move, which will definitely help out a lot. I have to be careful with leveling up my Pokemon though, since it ends up making the opponents much stronger. When I got to the gym leader, he threw out this Aggron that turned into an absolute giant. He also had this Bisharp that one-shot my Gabite. This battle was not going well, so I'll have to go back to training and come back stronger. I continued training in the desert and found a desert temple. I found some diamonds, some items for my team, and a GS ball. I'll save that GS ball for later, and hopefully I'll remember to use it. Now I added this Magmar to the team because there was no way I'd be able to defeat the gym without another counter. While I was training him, I found a wormhole in the sky and decided to explore the Ultra Space dimension. I figured that since I'm here, I might as well find an ultra deep sea biome and hopefully catch a dino. It didn't take long to find the biome considering they're pretty common, and I was curious to see what else I could find here. I waited until nighttime to start searching for him, but then I got into a battle with the Slowbro. This fight lasted for 40 turns, and I was worried he might have despawned. I checked all around and couldn't find him, but there is the possibility that he just didn't spawn. After a couple of nights though, he did eventually spawn, and I was happy that he was high level too. Once I got him paralyzed, I threw an Ultra Ball and caught the dino. After that, I said goodbye to the Ultra Space, but I might come back later. Once I came back to the overworld, I put Dino in my party and took one good look at him before I put him back in the PC. I still needed to beat this gym leader, and my Magmar is a lot more useful here. This battle was insanely tough though, and it didn't help that I ran out of revives. I was down to my last member, but he thankfully pulled through, getting me my first gym badge as well as a TR move. After that, I checked when Dino evolves, and he apparently evolves at level 50. Thank God I got him at level 40 and have a lucky egg, otherwise I'd be spending the whole video training him. Also, I got this awesome looking duck from a raid den, and I won't put him in the party, but I might use him later on. I found a Vaporeon den as well, and was hoping I could catch him too. Luck was not on my side, but I did get Scald, which is an amazing TR. I checked Dracovish's moves, and he apparently learns his only other water type move at 63. I'll replace this move later, but I'm sure it's going to last a while. Besides Scald, there were a couple of more moves that I wanted to teach my Pokemon. Now I sold all my ores to buy that lucky egg, so I have no choice but to buy them all back from the shop. I'll need to buy 14 rubies for $200, but at least it's much better than paying a fortune for TRs. I doubt I'll ever be able to afford one of those, but I am curious to see how much money I'll make by the end of this run. Now remember when I said I was happy I got Dino at level 40? Well, apparently he learns Dragon Pulse at level 40, so I guess I missed out on that. Luckily Dragon Pulse only costed 9 iron, so I wasn't too upset about that. My bank is running dry though after buying all those ores, so I'm going to have to find other ways to make money. I did find out though that if I vote for the server, I can get $1,000 as well as a vote key. However, money is the least of my worries because I'm focusing on training my team for the next gym. I'm also looking forward to seeing some evolutions as well. My Hakamo'o finally evolved and learned his signature move. I had some issues with this guy at the beginning, but I'm glad that he's now become a real fighter. After that, my Gabite evolved into Garchomp. The best thing about him is that we've had 0 issues, and he was even the one that got me my first gym badge. I wish I could say the same about my other Pokemon, but most of them have been nothing but pain. Especially my Dino, but it looks like he's ready to evolve. It took forever to get him to level 50, so I hope this is worth it. He did grow another head, which is scary but awesome at the same time. I thought I could fly with him, but I guess the flappy things on his back aren't wings. Speaking of wings, I soon found the flying gym and felt more than prepared for it now that my Pokemon are much scarier. My Ampharos is definitely going to be the most useful here, but I feel like this gym will be fairly easy anyway. Now when I fought this Altaria, I was super annoyed at how he kept healing up with leftovers. I realized I haven't bought any battle items for my Pokemon, so I feel like now is a great time to do some shopping. Leftovers and life orbs are really expensive though, so I think I'll just buy the leftovers for now. Moving on, this next fight is the reason why I love Ampharos. Thanks to a static ability, Dragonite got paralyzed just by touching Ampharos, allowing Zoelis to do some damage before Ampharos finished him off. I had to revive Ampharos for that fight though, so he's not completely unstoppable. Now I thought this gym would be a piece of cake, but as per usual, the gym leader was extremely difficult. His Skarmory alone took out 3 of my Pokemon without even dying. Dracovish finished off the Skarmory, but he couldn't really do much afterwards. That just left both of my star players in a 2v5. Ampharos was able to stand his ground, but then he took a massive hit from this Farfetch'd. He died soon after that, which left Garchomp on his own to fight against the rest. Garchomp was putting in the work, but he couldn't do it alone, so I used a max revive on Ampharos and brought him back to life. He took out the last bird and learned a bug move. He cleaned up on aisle 10 with his Aerodactyl, and he demolished this flying squirrel just to get me a Zephyr badge along with a Galarian TM. I'm glad I'm beating more and more of these gyms, but it looks like I'll have one more thing to focus on. I talked to Professor Lance, and she gave me the Shooting Star quest. I have to empower the fallen star she gave me by defeating 82 Pokemon and catching 31. If I want to complete that quest, I'm going to need a lot more Pokeballs. In addition to that, I also want to buy some apricorns to make a badge case. I really shouldn't be spending hundreds of dollars on apricorns, but I think I'm just way too dependent on this convenient shop feature. Now I just need to register my badge case and put my badges in. There's not much in here now, but hopefully there'll be more to come. Now for the Shooting Star quest, I'll need some weaker Pokemon to be able to catch a lot of Pokemon. I also need to be able to have convenient access to them, which is why I'm glad I found this Poke Center since I can just steal this PC. Buying a PC costs a fortune, so I'm thankful I don't have to do that. I've been trying to save money, but I guess I'll be spending more today. I found out that Kamoa learns close combat at level 60, so I might as well teach him Focus Punch since he's only level 46. I also wanted to teach Garchomp Scorching Sands since it can leave the target with a burn, which is very good against bosses. That move costed a lot of money though, so it looks like I'll have to start selling items again. Thankfully, I know a place where I can get a ton of valuable items that will sell a lot. I entered the Ultra Space again, and I'm grateful for that wormhole opening up since I forgot to set a home here the last time I came. Now I came back because I wanted to visit some end cities and steal their loot. End cities have tons of battle items that are worth a lot at the Pokemart and have tons of ores as well. The ores are the most important since they'll save me a ton of money when I buy stuff from tutors. In addition to selling stuff, I also did a little reorganizing. I have a chest full of junk, a chest with important items, a chest full of berries, and a chest for TMs. After doing that, I was then on my way to find the next gym, but then I saw something sparkle in the fields. It looks like I just found a shiny Sentret, but there's just one problem. I wanted to use a weak Pokemon to catch this guy, but my PC was back at home. I started panicking, and I wanted to buy a PC, but then I looked at the price. I really wish I had a rare candy on me, but I already used the ones I had. I decided I was just going to push this Sentret towards my home, and was happy to see him walking in the right direction. At a certain point, he caught on to what I was doing, but I wouldn't let him escape. He eventually accepted his fate though, and as soon as he turned away, I made a run for the PC. I replaced this Mareep for a shiny, and now I'm catching another shiny, which is kinda messed up. I then used an Ultra Ball and caught my second shiny. I have 3 shinies now, which is pretty insane, so I might as well give one away. I decided I'm going to give away the shiny Sentret to whoever joins the server and beats me in a Pokemon battle. I doubt anyone will beat me, but I'll be using the team I have by the end of the video, and you can use any Pokemon you want. Now on to other things. I've been curious to see how much of the Pokédex I've completed. In this menu, I also looked at the Pokédex ranks, and for every 10% of the dex I complete, I'll receive some money or a kit. I can also get crate keys and even 500k for 50%. I can find all the Pokédex kits by typing in /kits, but it looks like I have some other kits to claim. I'll probably open them up at the end of the video so that I can reward myself for completing my goals. Also, this Pokédex gives some great info for catching Pokemon, but I think I'll just stick with /pwiki. Moving on, it looks like I'm just one level away from evolving my Dragonair. Ever since I started adding the other recruits, I was slowly forgetting about this guy, even though he was there since day 1. But now with this evolution, I think he'll become the star of the show. I was also not expecting him to be green, but I think he looks much better this way. Now it took a lot of time to search for this, but I finally found another gym. I entered the water gym, did some parkour, and realized my Ampharos is going to have to do all the work again. However, now that I have Dragonite, I think I'll be relying on him as well. Ampharos is really good against water types, but I don't think he can do it all by himself. He was able to take out 2 Pokemon, but he didn't have much fight left in him, which is why it was up to Dragonite to take down the rest. He did massive damage against their Pokemon, and they barely did anything to him. After defeating the Samurott, I beat the gym leader and got the Rain Badge, along with a very good TR. I feel like Dragonite is all I need for these gyms, but hopefully I don't run into any ice gyms. Now the next morning, I found one of those structures that spawn a bunch of ghost Pokemon. My Zweilous is good against ghost types, so hopefully this will give him a lot of levels. There's a ton of high leveled Pokemon here, but what I'm really after is this guy. He's a haunted boss, and every time you kill one of them, another one immediately spawns. These guys are crazy strong though, so it's definitely not the easiest way to train. Gengar is one of the best ghost Pokemon too, so that just makes things even harder. These fights also took a while, so I'm thinking I'm just not ready to train here yet. I had difficulties just fighting a haunted boss, so I'm not sure why I thought it was a good idea to fight an ultimate one. But then I remembered I can just burn him and then revive my team a bunch of times. I think it's a brilliant strat for taking down bosses. However, at this rate, I don't think I'll even need to use one. I was down to my last Pokemon though, but he ended up burning, allowing me to obtain his Mega Stone. I gave the stone to my Ampharos and watched as he transformed into this lightning dragon sheep thing. It's really weird that he's a dragon type, but I'm not complaining. I'm just happy I was able to complete my first goal of getting a team full of dragons. The only thing left for my team is to evolve this guy, but that will take forever. Now remember when I said I didn't want to fight any ice gyms? Well, it ended up being the next gym I was about to take on. I am not looking forward to this, and I feel like I'm going to be here for a while. Ice types are super effective against dragon types, but I guess my Dragonite doesn't seem to care. I know that there are 2 ice gyms, but I wouldn't expect one of them being weaker than the other. Since this gym was so easy, I actually felt confident about the gym leader battle. Now one advantage this dragon team has over ice types is that my Dracovish is actually not affected by them at all. He was able to eat up a blizzard and take out 2 Pokemon, but then he got killed by a grass move. Now this guy used blizzard on my Zweilous 3 times, but luckily only one of them hit. He was down to his last Pokemon, and so was I, but thankfully my Garchomp was faster. He used one last Dragon Claw to take out the Castform, earning me the Glacier Badge along with another Galarian TM. My Garchomp has yet again clutched another gym victory for me. Hopefully, I don't run into any more ice gyms. I actually took a break from fighting gyms and warped back to the shrine. I really wanted to catch the Celebi, so I bought as many Ultra Balls as I could. I then used my GS Ball on the shrine and out came the legendary Celebi. I kept getting him low, but he kept healing up, which was really annoying. He healed up again, so I wanted to do some heavy damage on him, but then I ended up killing him. It turns out that bug moves are the most effective on Celebi, so that's a big yikes on my part. I'm going to forget that ever happened, and I'll try to focus on more important things. I visited the EV training place at spawn, and if you don't know what EVs are, they're basically bonus stats you get from defeating certain Pokemon. If you need help training for EVs, just visit the website in the description. Type in your Pokemon, and you should see people posting a bunch of different moveset builds for that Pokemon. Now another cool feature is the /PokeBuilder, which is very important for training EVs since you can change your Pokemon's nature here. I also get information on my team's IVs, and it looks like my Pokemon are lacking in them. If I click on a Pokemon, I can actually change their IVs and EVs here, and I can also make them shiny if I wanted to. You can do all sorts of fun things in this editor, but the most important edit, training wise, would be the nature. I was about to check that out, but then I got distracted by this guy. I thought I might have a chance, but then I realized I don't have a single counter for him. Now I wanted to change my Zweilous' nature to modest, but I wasn't even close to having the number of tokens to even buy it. Even at checkout, they told me in bold red letters that I'm too broke for this. At least EV training is free, so I don't have to worry about that. Now in order to complete this EV training, I'll actually need some berries to reduce some stats. Once I buy those berries, I'll finish up EV training, hopefully before taking on the battle tower. However, I'm going to need a lot more money than what I have now. I have about $36,000 in the bank, which is good, but if I'm buying berries and battle items, I'm gonna need to get my money up. I'll also need to buy a bunch of TMs since I'll be fighting all sorts of Pokemon at the battle tower. I'm not even close to being ready for that though, so I think I'll just focus on other things for now. I actually wanted to finish up on that shooting star quest, and for that, I just need to catch Pokemon. This Infernape was the first Pokemon I caught for the quest, which is pretty cool. Now I just need to catch about 30 more, and I'll be good to go. Before I do that, I'll need to make a few adjustments to my team. There's absolutely no way I can catch Pokemon with my Dragon team, mainly because they're all super high level. Now one thing I forgot to keep in mind is that you also level up just by catching Pokemon. I didn't mean to evolve him, but whoever beats me in a battle gets a shiny Ferret now. I also ended up evolving my Groudle into Torterra, and I didn't mean to do this either. I'm not complaining though, since I have a super cool grass type with a tree on his back. He even helped me catch a lot of Pokemon and got me closer to finishing this quest. Well, that's what I thought until I spoke to Professor Lance again, who told me to go fight some trainers. That seemed easy though, since I was going to go fight gyms anyway, but it didn't help that the next gym was yet another ice gym. I put the boys back on the team and fought this Blastoise so that I could have a little practice before the gym. I was hoping he'd give me some amazing battle item, but all he dropped was absolute garbage. I then entered the massive snow globe, which looks a lot prettier inside. The first trainer had a Cloyster who single-handedly took out my entire team. My Dracovish did take care of him the second time around, which I am very grateful for. I'm also grateful that somewhere along the lines, my Zweilous had finally evolved into Hydreigon. I've heard this guy is an absolute beast, so I hope he carries me throughout the gym. However, there's just one very big problem. I spent all my time and energy training this guy to get him to evolve, and I didn't spend any time training the rest of my team. So I'll have to leave this gym for now and get my team to Hydreigon's level. Now that sounds like it'll take forever, but I'm actually well prepared for this. I discovered that there's a ton of Pokemon around spawn that are ridiculously high leveled. That in combination with my lucky egg should make training super fast. Didn't get them to level 64, but I did get them past level 60, which should be fine. I also realized that my team is now fully evolved, which is pretty sick. I returned to the gym and decided to test out Hydreigon's nasty plot. It boosts his special attack, and I was starting to think that I didn't even need to train my team. I used the move again on the next trainer, and sure enough, I was doing some insane damage. Hydreigon took out this trainer by himself, and I was wondering if he could do the same with the gym leader. I put him up against this Cryogonal, and he got wrecked. But he ended up defeating it after a rematch and got me my Icicle badge along with Icy Wind. It appears that all my badges are blue, so hopefully the last gym will give me a different color. It looks like I got my wish because the next gym was a fire gym and there's no way they'd give me a blue badge. My team suffered in the ice gyms, but I know they won't suffer in this one. I already know my Garchomp's gonna have a fun time here. Now I did run into some trouble fighting this Volcarona since I kinda underestimated his power. But Garchomp took him down, like he did with Charizard, with Blaziken, with Typhlosion, and with Flareon. It's definitely a nice feeling to actually be able to counter stuff. However, I'm not sure how he'll do against this gym leader though. He was killed by the Chandelure, which put me in a little bit of a panic. I ran out of counters, and I was also running out of Pokemon. Luckily, my Hydreigon was able to pull through, getting me the Volcano badge along with Heat Crash. And with that, I had just completed my second goal of getting 6 gym badges. To celebrate, I killed this epic boss who dropped some pretty nice items. I gave the rare candy to Dracovish, who then learned his most powerful move. I kinda wish he learned this move before the fire gym, but what can you do? Anyway, I soon finished fighting all my trainers and headed back to the professor so that she can give me the Dynamax band. Now I can finally Dynamax my Pokemon. All I have to do is get into a battle, press this red button in the middle, and watch as my Pokemon grow massively in size. They also get these cool new moves that do crazy amounts of damage. The battle tower would be easy as heck if I use these moves, so I think I'll just use these when I desperately need them. Now my last objective is to take on the battle tower, but before I do that, I want to find a Garchomp boss. As I ran around in circles waiting for one to spawn, I realized that I had completely forgotten about the trading card thing. I had enough to finally create a random booster pack. I cleared up my inventory before opening the pack and had all these cards on my screen. I started flipping through them and had no idea if they were OP or absolute garbage. I'm going to assume that they're garbage, but I honestly can't wait to collect more of these. I also can't wait to start playing with people and get absolutely wrecked. Now as I continued to wait for the boss to spawn, I fought some dens in the meantime. I thought I could use the extra training in case I found a legendary or ultimate boss, but luckily it was an epic one. Thanks to my humongous dragon, I took down the Garchomp, getting his Megastone and even getting a Dragonium Z. I thought this guy would be much bigger after he transformed, but he actually shrunk a little. Regardless, he's now OP as heck and that's all that matters. Although, it does kinda suck that I can't use 2 Mega Evolutions in the same battle. But now that that's done, it's time for me to start selling items. A very important thing I learned is that some items sell for more at a village Pokemart than they do in the server shop and vice versa. For example, TMs sell for $300 each in the server shop, but sell for 3 to 5k at the Pokemart. While super rare items like nuggets and relics sell for more in the server shop than at the Pokemart. Once I sold all my junk, I had a balance of about 200k. I thought about making more money by selling my ores, but it's absolutely not worth it for the amount that they give you. Now I have all this money, but what exactly am I gonna do with it? You might think I'm crazy, but I'm actually spending a majority of it on berries. When I type /EVS and the slot number of a Pokemon, I can see their EV stats, which are the bonus stats I was talking about earlier. There are some stats I want and there are some stats I don't want, and to get rid of the stats I don't want, I can use these berries to lower them. For Garchomp, I only care about his attack and speed stats, so I'm going to lower all the other ones. I plan to do this for the rest of my team, and then I'll warp back to the EV place to train them. I went all the way from 200k to 68k after buying all those berries, and I'm still not done shopping. There were still a ton of TMs I wanted to buy. I bought Dragon Claw for Dragonite, mainly because I just hate Dragon Rush, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon for this guy, and Earthquake for Garchomp. Once that was done, I was left with 25k in the bank. Now as for items, I do want to buy a Choice Scarf for Dracovish. It'll boost his speed, making it more likely for this move to hit first and do tons of damage. I also spent some money on max revives and had about 3k left over in case of emergencies. I then gave my boys a little motivational speech to help them get ready for the battle tower and told them that the first one to die is going to get kicked off the team. Now the time has come for me to finally take on the battle tower and somehow fight my way to the top. I entered in and looked at my surroundings, feeling a bit shaky and maybe a bit nervous. I made it to the first floor and found my first trainer. He was a level 60 trainer, and if I beat him, I get 3 rare candy and $10,000. That reward will also triple if I beat all 3 trainers on this floor. Now this should be easy considering my whole team is above level 60. When I beat the first trainer, I had no idea who to give the rare candy to, so I just gave it to my Hydreigon. Now this next trainer had this cute and cuddly bear who wasn't actually cute and cuddly. The third trainer also gave me a hard time, and it was only the first floor. I had to use a max revive on Dracovish, which ended up being the best decision ever. Maybe I should just give all my rare candy to Dracovish. Now the next floor had level 70 trainers and doubled the rewards from the previous floor. I would love to use Dracovish for everything, but I gotta train my other Pokemon too. He might not be on par with Dracovish, but my Hydreigon is very strong as well. Things were going quite nicely for me until I got to the third trainer. Fairy types crush dragons, so I thought this was the end for me. But if there's one Pokemon I can rely on, it is most definitely my Dracovish. The next floor after that was the level 80 trainers who gave 10 rare candy and 40k. My Pokemon are not level 80 yet, so I'm going to need some life orbs to be able to do some damage. Now the battle with the first trainer was quite fun. I used my electric and fire moves to counter his water and grass types. My Dragonite dished out tons of damage, and my Garchomp was able to finish things off. The next fight was going well for the most part, but then the Salamence came in. He was quite a pain to deal with, but thankfully my Garchomp took care of him without taking any damage. This other Garchomp took down my Garchomp, and was just about to kill my Ampharos. Luckily he got confused though, which allowed me to finish him off with one last Dragon Pulse. I then revived my Garchomp to take down his last Pokemon. This guy definitely deserves some candy after that one. Now the third trainer is usually the hardest for me, but this one went pretty well. I guess it's because I got 20 rare candy prior to this, which was very useful. These floors have been pretty easy, but I have no idea what the next floor is going to be like. Once I made it to the very top floor, I noticed the trainers were level 100 and they gave 100 tokens instead of money. I was not ready to take on level 100s, so I decided to go back to spawn and train until my Pokemon were level 90. This is going to take a ridiculous amount of time, but I know it's going to be worth it. I eventually got my Pokemon to around level 90, some of them to level 95, and felt more than ready to go fight those trainers. I then began a race with my team to see who could get to the top of the tower first. I got into battle with this trainer, but wasn't doing so well at the start. It also didn't help that a bunch of his Pokemon knew ice moves as well. However, things got easier towards the end of the battle, and that's one trainer down. This next trainer had a Dragapult, who I was extremely scared of. Luckily my Garchomp took care of him before he became a problem. I expected Garchomp to finish the rest, but he actually got taken down by this Arcanine. But as per usual, my Hydreigon clutched up for me. His last Pokemon was a Ferrothorn who ended up burning in flames. Now the server is about to restart soon, and I have less than 5 minutes to defeat the last trainer. I panicked throughout this entire battle, and felt like I was making so many mistakes. Things were looking bad, but if I were to put all my faith into one Pokemon, it would be Dracovish. Dracovish took out the Aegislash in one hit, and did massive damage to the Togekiss. He then used one last Vicious Rend to take out the last trainer of the battle tower, with just 2 minutes to spare. With that, I had completed my third and final goal, and once I came back on the server, I decided to reward myself with these kits. They gave me a lot of Pokeballs and a ton of rare candy, so I thought I might as well get my team to level 100 with this. Now there's just one thing left to do, and that's to claim this legendary kit. I saved this for the end of the video, and I'll be using this key to go open a crate now. I used this on the legendary crate, and waited for the thing to stop spinning to see what random legendary I get. I'm really hoping it's something good here. I right-clicked the egg, and an Uxie was sent to my PC. Man, what an absolute waste of an egg. I guess this is what I deserve for killing that Celebi earlier. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a lot of fun on the server, and if you want to come play, just check the description and follow the steps. Thank you again for the love and support, and I will see you next time.